Painting a sunset in oils. We're going to do that here in just a minute. Hi, I'm Tim Longwell with Longwell Art and Create for Contentment, where we help you reignite your creativity and gain health and happiness as a benefit. What we're going to do today is we're going to create a sunset for a painting for a commission that I'm working on, and you get to follow along and learn how I go about it. We're going to start right in. First off, before I get too far, I'll put on some gloves because that way the thinners and stuff don't get into your skin. If you have liquid glove or something like that, you can use that. If you're doing this in acrylics, it's not going to be quite the same process, but you can either put gloves on or just, they're a little more, cleanup is a little more, less of a problem. Alrighty, first off, I'm going to take just a tiny bit of a background blending agent. This particular one is one that I have from back when I attempted to do Bob Ross style paintings and found out I just wasn't really crazy about it. That canvas is a little loose over here. Push that down a little bit. And we don't need a lot on here. We just need enough to kind of provide a blending agent. And this particular one is clear because I don't want it to affect the change in colors. Just kind of work it in. If you'll remember, I did a video about priming canvas for a special project. And this is the video here on this end card where you can watch how I did that to get ready for this particular project. Might help if I poured some cleaner. And I talked in the cleaning brushes video about reusing the cleaner. And that's why I'm going to add some of that refiltered cleaner to the little stainless steel jug now. Clean that brush out real good. Because we're not going to be using it again because it would leave a bristle effect in the paint. And since I'm putting text on this particular painting, I want the sky and everything, so I'll be using synthetic brushes today so that it leaves less brush strokes in the finished painting. This is a piece of old t-shirt material. One of the things I would suggest you do if you're going to do rags like this is get you a container, a coffee can or a jug or something like that, that you can drop these in so that the smell doesn't keep filling up the room and everything as you're doing the what we're doing here. Close that real quick. For now, we're going to put that right up there. And I'm going to get, this is just a little simple, inexpensive brush you can get at Walmart. Little flat wooden handle. These are obviously nylon bristles. And that's what I want for this effect. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to dip into my yellow here a little bit. I'm going to come right in here. I'm going to blend it in. Work it across. I want it kind of paler over here on the sides. The colors today are cad yellow hue, cad orange hue, phthalo blue, and Prussian blues because it's going to be a kind of a sunset going into night sky type painting. And we're just going to pull this up just a little bit. Brighten that center up just a little bit more for the blending into the next section here. Now this particular painting happens to be an Oklahoma Plains sunset, because that was what the request was. Now we're going to come over here, not even cleaning the brush. We're going to pick up a little bit of the cat orange. We're going to get some more of the yellow. Kind of mix them together, kind of lighten that yellow and orange out a little bit. And we're just going to come right in here, little soft X's. Just blend it in together. And just blend them together so that they work together. We're going to pull some of that orange over this way. You see how it softens a little bit as it blends the edges here together. And I'm adding just a little tiny bit of a short X stroke to pull the color down in. Just light X strokes to pull the orange and yellow together, blending the edges. Pull some more of the darker orange over here because we don't really need that much more. Now I'm going to go in and I just want plain orange added. We're going to add that in, and we're just going to go right across here real quick. Get that color in. And then same thing, we're just going to softly X it in and blend it in. So that just slowly blends the colors together. Those edges just kind of fade away. Slowly work it together. Notice I'm leaving the highlight more here in the center with the yellow. You got that orange streak in there, and then you've got the yellow starting to peek through behind. And that's the effect I want right there in the center. Then I'll bring the orange down a little more on the ends. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go in and we're going to get a little bit of that ultramarine blue, just a little bit on the brush. As you can see, it's not a lot. We're going to mix that into that heavier orange. Go over and grab a little bit of that paler orange with it, because the blue is a strong color, just like an orange. We're going to come in. Did I grab the wrong bit? No? Okay. Oh, yes. I need to get some more of that blue in there. So I can kind of bring that blue down. I want to bring that blue because it's going to darken when I mix it with that yellow and orange a little bit more. I'm just going to softly pull it down into the orange here. So I'm not really trying to pick up the orange, I'm just trying to get the blue down in the orange for blending purposes, because this will change real quick. Now I'm going to wipe the brush off. And see, and that's why so you don't wind up wearing the paint on your palm of your hand or whatever, because it happens. I'm going to go in, I'm just going to get a little bit of my orange to add right in for the blending purpose. I'm just going to slowly mix them together and blend them together. And you notice I'm using the side of the brush this time to blend the edges in. And reach up here and grab some more of that heavier blue. Just keep slowly bringing it down, because we don't want it to turn green. So we bring in a little bit at a time. And just a little more here. Just slowly work it in. If you get too much, then it can eventually even turn brown on you. I'll come in and get a little more of the ultramarine blue. Too much. Kind of work it in, just like I did before. Now this one's not going to, because it's such a drastic color change in shades, this one's not going to work along the edge the same way as blending these others. And we'll address that here shortly. We're just slowly get that color kind of even along there. So it's more or less a light, smooth line. We're going to pull it up a little bit. Then we're going to get our final color, which is the Prussian blue. And we're going to take it right up here. I probably put enough in this corner to do the whole, all the way across. Just come over here and grab it. Mix it in. Pull some more over. That'll give me a nice dark color because this particular painting is going to have text on it. So this will give me a nice even dark color to put the text against. Make sure I cover everything evenly and well. I don't want any of the white in the background showing through. So I got to go through and slowly mix it all together here. All right, once that, we'll clean this brush real quick. Wipe some of the excess paint off real good. Just kind of knock the majority of it out of your brush. Now this one later I'll come back and I'll clean because this particular color, especially the Prussian blue, is real bad about staining the brush. I'm just going to dump a little bit of the brush tip bristles in and come work on my paper towel again because I'm trying to get the excess off so I don't get a lot of it in the paint thinner so that it lasts longer. Dip a little bit again over here. See how it's starting to run up into the brush bristles though now with the paint thinner. As you can see, it's staining. It's just the nature of the heaviness of the pigment. It's a nice rich color. And that's why I like using the wipe off method like this before I stick it in my paint thinner. And ever so often you'll notice that we speed things up a little bit so you don't have to watch me play with it when I do stuff like this. And that's another reason I use the gloves, is so that I don't get the paint thinner on my hands. Because it will dry your skin out. And if you don't keep a moisturizer, use the hand creams and stuff, you'll wind up with dried out skin that actually reach a point where it'll crack. See, it still stains quite a bit even on this. One thing, especially when you're using oil paints and oil thinner, never, ever store your brushes up like this. I know I've talked about it a little bit in the brush cleaning and everything. But when you store them like this, that thinner, you don't get it all out by wiping it off and everything. And if you have one of those little grates that you can knock it off and everything, that helps some. But still some of it gets down in here. And then on a regular paintbrush like this, it gets down in there, breaks the glue up in here so your bristles fall out more. It'll break the glue in here to where the trail comes off the handle and you've got to buy new brushes unnecessarily. So always store your brushes flat, because standing them on end doesn't do them any good either. And if you store them like this, it'll bend the edges over time as they're stored. So just be sure and you lay them flat. Doesn't matter whether it's a flat brush or a round brush, just make sure you store it flat. All right, that's good for that for now. Cover up this paint thinner for a minute. Now this is a special goat hair blending brush. Real fine, soft. You can see it's actually kind of wide. The bristles are short. Now you can get these where the bristles are longer, and there's a lot of good things you can use for that, but this one is specifically for blending. Now watch these edges as I go right through here. I'm just going to use the corner and just a light touch. And just doing that X again. See how it fades that edge even further back? Just I'm going to do light in here to kind of smooth things out here a little bit. When the ground goes in, it won't be as big a deal. Now, when I talked about showing you how to do this here edge, same principle. You're just going to do a light. And this will take a little bit. I'm going to go in. For the blue and the orange, you got to push just a little bit harder. But I'm just using the corner of the brush. I'm going to go back over here to my yellow side, right here in the center. Add just a little bit of more softening right in here. And start doing that pulling up I was doing before. Just barely touching the edge. Just kind of getting the and then back to my yellow corner. And flatten out the edge. Just finish blending it all out, smoothing it out. As you can see, it just slowly that way, just slowly gradiates up into the blue. You get the vibrancy of the yellow and the orange fading into the night sky. Because this is, the sun's already down, you're just barely seeing some of the yellow. When we put the background in, you'll see almost none of the yellow over here on the sides. And that's how you blend in a sunset in oil paints. And the more pressure you put, the more it blends. The more colors you put, the better it blends. This one had to be fairly quick because of what I needed to do in such a short distance. But if I had started my horizon line down here, then I would have been able to add some more stages going between yellow and blue before it got to the dark sky. I'm just going to do a little quick. I'm going to add just a little bit more right in there. If you liked what you learned today, be sure and hit the subscribe button. Hit the little notification bell so that you get notified when we upload a video. Check out some other helpful tip videos over here on increasing your creativity and helping you in the journey along the way. Again, I'm Tim Longwell from Longwell Art. Keep continuing to create for contentment. In the meantime, you be sure and have fun.